Creating, building, and maintaining a brand to stand the test of time is a true accomplishment. Today, we take a moment to salute Ranger Boats and highlight their signature 50th Anniversary Edition Comanche L Series.
Starting in the late 1960s out of a small town called Flippin, Arkansas, began the birth of a bass boat legendary model called Ranger Boats. Ranger Boats has stood the test of time, and they're celebrating their 50th anniversary this year.
Founded by Forrest and Nina Wood in 1968, Ranger Boats began on the downtown square of a rural Arkansas town with the production of their first 6 boats. The business grew quickly and soon became a household name among fishermen across the country. An industry leader in innovation and standards, Ranger has been a pioneer in the sport of fishing. Their patented aerated live well system helped push the catch and release initiative to the forefront, leading to successful conservation efforts. With the invention of the aerated live well, grew Ranger's significant presence in tournament bass fishing.
When you look back into the annals of fishing tournaments, Ranger Boats was right there at the beginning of time. They built some of the first tournament boats that people ever fished out of, and they still build more tournament boats than anybody out there today.
As the brand continued to grow, Ranger realized the importance of all fishermen. Today, Ranger produces 4 different classes of boats: fiberglass, aluminum, saltwater, and pontoons. Each of these series of boats are designed with the angler in mind, providing a watercraft that will allow them to enjoy the outdoors and be more successful on the water.
So whether you're a guy that's fishing out of an aluminum boat, spending time out on a body of water with your family in one of the pontoons, fishing for walleye in one of the many multi-species boats, or a hardcore tournament angler both in the saltwater and freshwater markets, Ranger Boats has got a model for you.
Built on the 5-star advantage of quality, performance, innovation, safety, and resale, Ranger Boats makes their initiative clear: to offer the best quality boats with the highest level of total performance through relentless innovation, incorporating the strictest safety standards, all of which give you the greatest resale value of any boat.
And what's so exciting when you talk to Ranger boat owners, when you talk to members of the team that are building them, it's that pride in ownership. It's taking time to enjoy the craftsmanship and making sure the best is built into every one of these Ranger boats. For me, I've been proud to be a member of the Ranger Boats team for some time, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time walking you through my new Ranger Boats 521L model. This model has all kinds of new features, and once again, it's going to stand the test of time as a pride of ownership and craftsmanship. Let's walk through this new model now. We're going to start at what I call the business end of the boat. This is where I spend most of my time when I'm up fishing on my 521L. As you look at this boat here, it's specifically designed to maximize what you're going to be needing for a fisherman. I've got my boat set up using the recessed foot pedal right here. I love the recessed foot pedal that Ranger builds in their boats because it helps eliminate some back stress. You also got places to store a little bit of gear. But one of the things I like the most is how we can maximize and keep everything clean and neat on the front end of this boat when it comes to putting your electronics. Everybody nowadays has big electronic screens, multiple units up front, a hydrowave like I've got set up here, and we've been able to maximize all the space but still have plenty of room up here for all this electronics and take all the wires inside. So as you look at the business end of the boat, we've got tons of room up here based on the well thought out design that Ranger comes with every one of these. Now as we begin to move back to the boat, you start to look at the features that come with it. Obviously we're going to have some buckles here for all of our rods. Tournament bass fishermen always have a lot of gear up here. Even when you've got them dialed in, you're going to have a few rods strapped across here, and you're going to have easy access to every one of them, because inside this storage here you can put a lot of gear, because this is where the office supplies are all stored when it comes to fishing. When you start diving deeper into the boats, you really get into the nuts and bolts of all your storage. Now here's our basic rod box on the 521L series, and as you can see, you can put a lot of rods in there. I've got some of them doubled up, 2 and 3 rods in each one of them, and it's going to hold any size rod that you're going to need to fish with out there. The next box down is where we're going to have basically our ice box. This is where you're going to put all your drinks at, you can put your snacks at, and you can tell it's plenty deep to hold more than ever what you're going to go through on a day on the water. The center rod locker box is absolutely one of my favorites. This is where you keep all the goodies at, or how I have my boat rigged out. Now, you as a fisherman can rig this out in any different manner that you want. Check this out as you dive into this a little bit deeper. It's actually a more rod storage up here, should you so desire. I've just personally decided I'm gonna make mine my tackle storage. So I've got all my hard baits, my flipping baits, crankbaits, hooks in here, and specifically a few of my key baits, but I could just as easy put quite a few fishing rods in here, so you, as the owner of this boat, can choose what you want to be able to do with it. I've even got room up here to hang specific baits in here to maximize my storage a little bit more. Now, let's go to the other side of the boat. Another giant storage area right here, where I basically have a few more fishing rods in here. Remember, I've got fishing rods here, and I've got fishing rods here, and I'm keeping a lot of my heavy duty tackle right here. You can put any type of gear you want to put in here. Say you want to put your life jackets up here, you can put rain gear in here, you can put all the camera guy stuff if you're out filming a show. Regardless how you want to set it up, you've got a lot of storage right there, which is all part of the 521L from Ranger. Now, here's where I keep all my soft plastics. Once again, we've got enough storage in here to basically take care of all the tackle junkies in the world. I mean, look at the stack of bait boxes that we're pulling out of here. I mean, that's a lot of gear in one small area right there. One cool feature that I haven't talked about inside the Ranger boats, when you look down here, you've got a fan right here that's gonna help circulate air throughout the boat. Why is that important? We're basically spending all of our time, if we're in a boat, out in a wet environment, and we want to be able to keep that moisture out of there so you lessen the effects of rust or wear and tear on some of your gear. So you can turn that fan on very simply by pushing the button over there on your accessories panel, and you've got air moving through here, which once again helps keep your Ranger boat and all the gear in there in better shape. Now here's the console. This is basically where you get to spend all your time enjoying driving this 521L Comanche Series boat by Ranger. If you look over to the right, you've got the all-new designed buttons right there to be able to run it. You've got a combination to start and stop it. You've got all of your navigation lights. You've got your bilge pumps. You've got your horns, accessories. That's where you'll be able to push the fan that we talked about. You've got your buttons for your LED lighting. You've got all the neat additions to your live well to be able to keep that catch alive while you're out fishing, as well as USB plug ports and basically a cigarette lighter plug-in right there, so that you can charge your phone. You can be able to run some of your point of view cameras, where like we use the Garmin Verb. It's all right there in a nice, controlled, neat, clean package. Now, as we step up to the console, you've got basically the dials and the features that you're gonna need to be able to operate this boat, whether you're looking at your RPMs, wanna study how much gas you've got, your tilt trim. That's how I have mine set up on my steering wheel. Then you see that I've actually got a big 16-inch GPS map XSV from Garmin on mine. I've gone to the single mount with just a bigger screen instead of running duals. Everybody's got their own personal favorite or the preference. I like that big single mount right there. It allows me to be able to do everything. I can set up in 4 screens, and it really, the entire design of this Ranger boat is designed to be able to handle up to a 16-inch if you wanted to even flush mount it within that as well. Now, let's step over to the side here and see what all the passenger benefits out of this model of Ranger boats. Passengers have never had it so good in these Ranger boats 521L Series seats. They've been redesigned, they're more comfortable than ever, they're bigger than ever, so they're gonna have a great ride to and from their fishing locations. Plenty of room for the rod storage here for your co-anglers, and if you go with the dual console model, like I prefer here, you've got a lot of storage room in here, and you've got more USB cables to be able to charge things, be able to keep your phones charging here, or rig into your point of view cameras like what we do. So this part of the boat really allows for anglers to be comfortable, have more storage space, and when you're going to and from those fishing locations, the old passenger has never been so well thought of and so well taken care of. Now, as we start to go to the back deck of the boat, we start to get into the area that's so key, and it's something that all fishermen that are tournament anglers really pay attention to, and that's the live well system. Ranger boats, you know, based on their long-time commitment to tournament bass fishing, has really spent a lot of time making sure that live well systems on all of their boats are going to keep your fish catch alive as you get into tournament and be able to be released for future generations. And so when you get into the components here, you're gonna have high-powered aeration systems. You've got oxygenator systems built into this to be able to put a little bit of bubbles into the water. And basically it's big enough to be able to handle a big fish catch while you're out in tournament fishing situations. So that's always an important aspect when it comes to picking a boat for tournament fishing. Then you've got 2 more storage areas in the back of this boat, one on each side. And as you see how basically I've got mine, I keep all my life vests and rain gear in one as we dive into it, and in the other I keep some of my tools and other fish care devices, safety devices in there. I've got my throw cushion, I've got ropes in there, and I've got plenty of room to be able to have these must-have items while you're out on the water, both from a safety standpoint, but also from a comfort standpoint while you're in any type of boating or fishing situation. This Ranger Boats 521 L Series bottle is just packed with basic features to allow you to be able to do anything you want now and into the future when it comes to being an owner of a boat. The final part of the boat, hey, we're going to look at what's pushing it, whether it comes from the batteries that's going to be pushing our trolling motors and that big Yamaha in the back that's helping getting us to and from those fishing locations. When you look at the final back end of a boat and how well it's organized, how clean it is, and how well it's thought out, this is a boat that's immediately going to catch your attention. When you start looking at all the battery components and the storage area that you got there, the 4-bank charger, your on-off control systems, both for charging and controlling your main batteries through the boat, all the way to your trolling motor, you're seeing a setup that's easy to work on and is been thought out in a manner that's going to be as efficient as you possibly can, so that you're going to be able to maximize everything you're looking at in the boat. Our power pole controls are under there, our hydraulic jack plate controls are under there. Obviously the ability to control and maintain all the batteries that are going to be needed in this boat are all well set in there. When you look at that, it's clean, well thought out efficiency. Now when you close this, you continue with that theme that boaters and bass tournament anglers really like. You've got controls here to turn your plug on and off, or basically in and out. This is where your charging cord comes out, so you can plug it in to be able to charge your batteries that you just saw. And then look at all the clean, nice, tight lines. When you start looking at everything coming out of there, there's not a lot to get hung up on. There's not a lot to have to worry about. You got all the lines that are going to be powering your jack plate, your power poles, and this big Yamaha right here. So everything is going to be efficient and you're not going to have to worry about it as much. And finally, you can look at that ladder over there. You may not think about safety a lot of times when you're looking at this, but that's a key device. When you look at how well thought out and how awesomely built this boat is, and all we did is look at really the features that are going to impact you mostly as a fisherman. When you really was able to dive into this boat and cut it up and look at all the flotation and all the designs inside here to be able to maximize your experience while you're running, be able to maximize your experience for a long-term boat owner where you know this boat's going to be able to stand the test of time, whether you're selling it, looking for resale value, or you're going to own this boat for several decades. And then when you start looking at the Ranger Trail trailers and all the features that are built into that, you really sum up one of the best built boats I've ever seen in my life. And I'm just so excited to wish Ranger Boats a happy 50th anniversary. And I can't tell you how excited I am to have already fished and all the fishing trips that I'm going to do in my Ranger Boats 521 L Series boat.